Today we're going to talk about the brand spanking new Polaroid Now, the first autofocus camera with the Polaroid name in 15 years. And we're also going to discuss Polaroid Originals rebranding to simply Polaroid. We live in uncertain times, but at least we have this. Let's do it.
The kind of photography that would become part of the human being. Press a button and have the picture.
Welcome to In an Instant. My name is Ben, and boy do we have a corker today. 2 weeks ago in our debut episode, we broke down the history of autofocus and Polaroid cameras, and then out of nowhere, this weekend, the autofocusing Polaroid Now hit a few store shelves without any notice. No announcement from Polaroid Originals. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's go ahead and unpack this. Since Christmas, things have been quiet over at Polaroid. No new film frames, not much noise, only a sale on their website that's giving away accessories. Why might they be purging accessories that say Polaroid Originals on them? Well, it turns out they're scrapping Originals and going back to that clean Polaroid name we haven't seen on instant film in over a decade. As you can see with the Polaroid Now and the fresh film packs, we have a clear revamp going on. But why haven't you heard about this? I'm thinking the good folks at Polaroid spent quite a bit of time developing new products and fresh branding only for a little thing called COVID-19 to hit the market first. First to market always wins. I'm guessing it doesn't feel like a great time to make a big press release about instant film during a global pandemic, but this is YouTube, and if you're watching this, you're probably practicing social distancing, so good job. The camera, it looks similar to the One Step 2, but buttons have moved around. The flash is now rounded, the casing has slightly different contours to it. This is also the only color known to exist at the moment. But obviously, the big news of the day is this lens. It is a 35 to 40 millimeter autofocusing lens that focuses when you half press the button. The zoom range of 35 to 40 isn't really a zoom. The optical elements are simply changing as you focus. You can hear and feel that when you press the button. Check it out. You can see those elements adjusting. This is actually nice because a lot of the later plastic autofocus Polaroid cameras didn't really feel like much was mechanically happening when you pressed the shutter. The lens has no manual zone focus control or anything, and the viewfinder is similar to the other One Steps. Doesn't display data, you don't actually know that the lens hit focus necessarily, but this isn't an SLR like the SX70, so that's to be expected. To me, this autofocusing lens is big for business, a major plus for the average consumer. And that, in my opinion, is the intended market for this camera. It appeals to users who prefer simplicity and a pure point and shoot functionality. I think this is why Fuji has done so well with the Instax series. You just pick those things up and they're good to go. Not that the One Step 2 was any harder to use really, but this thing is down to basics. So much so that they've even eliminated the exposure compensation switch. The quick start guide has very little information and doesn't explain how to toggle exposure comp, leading some people to believe the camera didn't even have it at all. But in messing around while shooting, I discovered that if you turn it on and hold down the flash button, you can now tap the button again and toggle the compensation to darker or lighter. You can do this with the flash on or off. To be honest, I don't really understand why it was designed this way. It's undoubtedly an inconvenience, and it kind of seems like they just wanted to make additional use of this new LED frame counter window instead of thinking about what the best user experience would be. But once you get the hang of this, you can do it in your sleep. Getting, full 8 hours of sleep, dreaming of a better world. So it's not a deal breaker. It's also got the 10-second timer button, which can be used for double exposures as well, but it does not have a tripod mount. So plan to place this precariously on a rock and worry about that a lot. The Bluetooth features of the One Step Plus are also nowhere to be seen. This really is the Polaroid Now. Like, put down your fucking phone and take a Polaroid, like right now. In taking a look at some of the images I've made with this so far, one of the biggest problems I faced is with the light meter. It seems to err toward overexposure in almost every lighting situation. I don't typically like shooting in direct sunlight, but Polaroid has always recommended that with their film, and as you can see, we have some really white highlights. The supposedly improved flash is also overexposing images a little bit. Maybe not so much with the picture on the left there, but highlights are getting iffy on the right. I wouldn't quite call the lens sharp either, but that's understandable for a box-type Polaroid camera. I think this camera is more of an incremental release to kick off the rebranded Polaroid name. All of the packaging for the One Steps say Polaroid Originals, and they obviously needed to jumpstart the rebrand with something fresh. As I mentioned in the autofocus breakdown, we know a truly different and more feature-rich camera isn't coming until 2021 at the earliest, so this is just the beginning. On the bottom of this camera, we've got a quote from Edwin Land. An essential aspect of creativity is not being afraid to fail. I hope they carry that mantra and come out with a more advanced piece of hardware in the future. This one may not be the big leap forward, but it represents Polaroid doubling down on their historic brand and opens the door for all the new stuff they plan to release soon. That is when coronavirus stops being a dick and people actually want to buy stuff again. Pros and cons. Pros. Autofocus. Welcome home. We missed you so much. Return of the Polaroid name. Maybe not a hardware feature, but I love what that represents. Cons. The removal of the exposure compensation switch. Someone's gonna have to explain to me why they did that. The plastic lens does have its limitations, and the light meter being wonky isn't ideal. This is the first production run of the camera, so perhaps that will improve in future releases. The camera is not yet officially in stores or available online or even announced at all, but your local Target may have it in the back for a cool 99 bucks. Thank you for watching in an instant. Go ahead and wipe down that subscribe button with Purell and give it a good smashing. Stay tuned for more reviews, breakdowns, and all things instant. Bye.